As the rose goes from limb to limb, fingertip to painted lip, she sways her way up to buy this car to drive to work to pay for this car, buy this car to drive to work to work.
Welcome to Yellow Brick Road. I'm Jordan, this is James, and today we're going to do another fan request video. It's Dinesh D'Souza destroying a leftist college kid. Thank you, Matt Hunter. But first, please consider donating to Devon's Journey to Recovery. The link is in the description box, and the website is in the intro to this video. Please donate. Give him all the money you have, because we don't have free healthcare. You might as well help someone out. You can feel good about yourself. You can virtue signal with your money at Devon's Journey to Recovery. GoFundMe link down there in the description box. Alright. So we have Dinesh D'Souza, who I'm not that familiar with. I've probably seen maybe one or two of his videos before. And one of our listeners, I guess, believes he destroys what do you call him? An anti-white college kid, leftist, and Dinesh is going to destroy him. So here we go. It's 4.9 million views. Very interesting. All right, here we go.
After World War II, the white middle class soared to prosperity as a result of bills like the GI Bill. And African Americans who were coming home from war didn't get those benefits simply because they were African American. The U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs denied African Americans access to those benefits simply because of their race. And you are correct in saying that no one today dealt with that particular issue. With that being said, however, there was wealth amassed as a result of those programs that still exists today. And when I think of your example about an individual who works as a janitor and sees people dining in a beautiful cafe walking home from work, I want to ask you, do you think any of that indignation, given certain circumstances, might actually be justified simply because there have been systematic blocks in people's way throughout American history, not ending with slavery, not ending with the Jim Crow laws, not ending, some would say even today, we still have housing discrimination, all of which is to say, you found that during the Cold War era, there was a massive boom in the white middle class's prosperity, and you just didn't have that among African Americans, not because they weren't meritorious, but because they were discriminated against.
Okay, so I can't see where you call him anti-white. It sounds like he's more paying attention to lower income blacks, right? Like, does that mean anti-white if you support lower income blacks or minorities or whoever? I don't know. But let's hear D'Souza's. Let's hear D'Souza's response to that. Let's watch him destroy him.
Let me ask, you know, we're in a very smart college. It's worth pursuing a discussion on these points. So there are Americans whose present benefits are due to past advantage. By the way, this past advantage, which is often assumed to continue with the white man, actually goes all the way back to the beginning.
So it sounded like the kid was saying, I don't want to call him, the young man, the college kid. It's not like he was talking about I don't know if he's crapping on someone having an advantage as much as he's examining someone having a disadvantage. Like, I think that was the angle he was going at. But, you know, this blame the white guy thing is a popular thing to say, I guess, for, you know, these type of people. Here we go.
American Indians who were here first, right, had a huge advantage. We presume that they owned the whole country. Now, by the way, let's pause for a moment. How do you get to own a country? if you have Cain and Abel is a shepherd and Cain is a farmer, and Cain says, okay, I'm not going to put a fence around the whole world. I own it because I'm the only guy here. You're a shepherd. And my descendants will now inherit the earth, and anybody who shows up is a usurper. Rousseau says that the first guy who puts up a fence and claims he owns something is a con man. So the American Indians came. They happened to be first. They came in a bunch of tribes. The Navajos who got the land took it from the Hopi or the Pueblo. Their law of the jungle was conquest. That's how they got the land. There's a big fight about the Black Hills that I cover in the film. The Sioux who got the Black Hills took it from the Cheyenne. So when we say, oh, give us the land back, are you going to turn around and give it back to the Cheyenne? Oh, no. It's ours. Really? How come you own it forever now? So what I'm getting at here is history is very complicated. Let me give you an example of India so we can look at this at the level of theory. Okay? India was invaded by the British, and earlier by the Afghans and the Persians and the Mongols. So you have all these successive invasions, right? Are you actually saying that you believe in a rule of social justice today that says globally, let's look at this as a global rule of justice, I'm going to figure out whose ancestors did what to whom, and I'm going to return goods that were illicitly taken from the beginning to the people who had it originally. Do you believe that that's a viable way to organize our society?
That didn't sound anything like what the college kid said. I don't know. I don't think he was arguing for reparations. It sounded like he was just talking about these guys were disadvantaged. I don't know. That's what that... Maybe I'm wrong. Let's hear the college kid clarify. Maybe he is saying that.
Do you believe, if I can ask you a direct question, that you are the beneficiary of white privilege here at Amherst?
I
yes
do.
Or no?
Well, yeah, and
Pause.
Okay.
If you are, can I
Don't explain it. I'll do it for you.
ask you a further question?
Okay, yeah, but I don't just say it in a I don't say it in a self-flagellating and self-aggrandizing way.
Hold on. Okay, go on.
You know, I really try not to. I'm simply saying that because you asked me. Really, I view the recognition of one's privilege as an impetus to change things. So I don't just say I have white privilege. I try to help those who have not benefited from such privilege.
How? Hold on. Let's pursue this for a moment.
Sure.
You say, this is actually very important because there's a psychology here,
Sure.
right?
Well, you see, I'm going to answer your question, but I'm really not trying to attack you. I'm not trying to be provocative. I just find that often, I think the essence of much of this discourse surrounds hypocrisy, and you're trying to demonstrate that I'm a hypocrite. I say I benefit from white privilege, yet I don't actually do anything. But I'm gonna backpedal and say that ultimately I think what the greatest vice is cruelty, and I don't want to be hypocritical. So to answer your question, I'll start in high school. Do people want to hear this, or do we?
Educated. Go ahead. Let them know.
Look, let me say where I'm going with this, because I think you're...
All right, well,
too bad.
all of which is to say, it's not like I picked anyone out to help based on the color of their skin, but I was a tutor for people who tended to be low income when I was in high school. I suppose that would be one direct answer to your question, because oftentimes disparate educational opportunities are grounded in disparate economic systems, or systems that produce disparate economic outcomes. So that's one way that I would combat it on an individual level.
All right.
Now, the problem with that would be placing a race on it, right? Does LeBron have white privilege? Once you attach race to it, it's a whole different thing, right? LeBron had privilege. He happened to be 6'8" and can run like a fucking... he can run the speed limit. He can run 30 miles an hour or something. 6'8", muscular, and can run fast. I'd say that's a form of privilege. Also, after he became a successful basketball player. He has a lot of money. Now he's really privileged, right? So LeBron's family is going to have a head start on someone who doesn't have any of those resources. So that would be a form of privilege, I would think. So the problem is attaching race to it. Now, with that said, I don't think the kid's trying to go so far into the SJW arena. I think he's trying to be a little bit more practical, as in these things happen at this time period. So if one family is starting ahead of another family, over time, you're going to you can see the effect that had on generations later. Not everyone, but you can see an effect, right? That's where I think he's going. And I think the Dinesh D'Souza guy just reads it as SJW, and he goes into, how can I make you look silly for a YouTube video? Or whatever. Let's hear Dinesh's response.
Here's what I'm getting with this, okay? One of the benefits of a good education of reading people like Nietzsche is you begin to understand how deep the human desire is for moral self-exculpation. Moral self-exculpation. Now,
that's virtue signaling, basically what he's saying, I think. So he's a smarter way of calling him an SJW.
Now, you say, and I didn't say this, you said this, I'm a beneficiary of illicit white privilege. Okay?
Illicit?
Well, isn't all white privilege illicit? Is it deserved?
Well, in this current system, there is legality.
Illicit means immoral.
Okay. Then
immoral white privilege.
Yeah.
Okay. So then if I were to say to you, there are surely many deserving minorities who would like to come to Amherst but have the inherited disadvantage of American history. Therefore, since you are an acknowledged beneficiary of illicit privilege, would you be willing to step aside voluntarily, putting your own moral mouth where your self-proclaimed virtue is, and give your seat, not my seat. I realize you may be super generous with other people's advantages and favor affirmative action, so other white kids who apply to Amherst are turned away to open spaces for minorities. But I'm not talking about you acting out your virtue on them. I'm talking about you acting out your virtue on you. Mm-hmm. Are you willing to give up your illicit seat that you don't deserve here at Amherst to make room for a disadvantaged minority? Yes or no?
Okay. See, he's almost, there's straw men, and then there's what, like a steel man or something? I think that's a word.
I don't like using these terms. I think more of it is like restructuring an argument and then going forth with it.
Yeah.
And you control it, yes or no?
Yeah, he turned it into that. Everything D'Souza just says there, he turned it into a reparations argument that I don't think the kid was really saying.
And the kid also brought up like a solution, even if it is not a good one, or an idea of a solution based off of a moral obligation that the kid had.
Yeah.
It was, one way I can fix this feeling of inequality regarding economics or education is for him to voluntarily tutor people.
Yeah.
In lower income locations.
Yeah,
and
people
specifically, right? Specifically, that sounds like an individual taking it upon themselves to attempt to fix a problem, right? So it's a step in the right direction, right? A step towards a solution rather than, are you willing to give up your seat? Like, what the fuck's that going to solve?
Well, what's that to do with what the kid's saying?
What I'm saying, if you look, I was going to say, what I'm saying is, I'm saying this. Well, what's that going to solve? Well, that can't, and then, right, that basically means nothing. Are you willing to give up your seat? Like, that's not going to solve anything. That's not going to do any good. That's not a solution. So if you go back to what he said as far as a history of a group of people being persecuted, or, as far as when the Civil War, everyone's equal. It's like, no. So you fucking look at history as far as who was systematically targeted.
Yeah.
I don't think it was a racial thing. I think people on the you could call it like a pyramid, on the bottom of the pyramid might, as far as I could see why they would call you racist, but on the higher ups it's like, well, you'll be targeted and you'll be economically deprived, and certain people can profit off of you, but they're not going to get into that.
Yeah. So I think once again, I think the kid's more focused on the disadvantaged aspect of it more than the privileged aspect. I think he's saying these guys were disadvantaged, so we should try to help them. Not these guys were privileged, we need to take it away from them. And that's what this guy's implying with that response we just heard.
Now he's literally controlling an argument. Yes or no?
Yeah. Plus he went in a direction I don't think the kid was going either, which is reparations, giving up seats at colleges or what is it called? Not reparations. I keep saying that. Affirmative action.
Was that going to fix the problem?
No.
All right. Now, as far as that kid talking about, like one way he's attempting to solve the problem, even if it's a little misguided, as far as an individual effort to tutor.
Yeah.
You see, there's an attempt here. I'm going to assume that's what he's trying to do.
All right. Let's hear the kid's response. The leftist college student.
Well, let me start here. I don't know how you got on the topic of affirmative action.
By following the logic of your...
No, I never said specifically that I think that race-based affirmative action is the best way to rectify the systems of injustice that...
Why don't you practice it by stepping out? And why don't you go to the registrar tomorrow and tell him you want to withdraw from Amherst?
That's nowhere near what the kid's saying.
You see, it's very telling.
Why don't you just stick to the argument I'm trying to stay on so that I look better?
This is very telling when someone tries to straw man an argument. If not, well, I don't like saying that. It's basically, he basically just said, well, just following logic, that's where you're going. Like, no, first of all, you're assuming. And if that is where it's going, then you'll probably be safe. But if not, then, that tower of his, as far as his argument, or the point he's making, is going to crumble.
Yeah, there's nowhere...
There's nowhere for him to go now, unless now he's... What you meant was this. It's like, no.
I don't see how he skipped all the way to that point. Like, that's where you're going.
He just said it. He said, logically, that's where you're going. It's like, now, first of all, now you're assuming. Now, either that's really what you meant or you're lying.
Why can't the kid's solution be like, let's help these lower income areas out with their education so they can earn their way into whatever college? How do you know that's not the solution for this kid? I mean, that's just a giant leap right there.
So I can already tell you right now the title.
How'd this get 4.9 million views?
So the title already, tells me this is just, no, someone didn't really listen to this.
Oh, well, it's his channel.
Is this DeSouza?
Yeah, it's his channel where he put DeSouza absolutely destroys leftist college student. It's his channel.
What
he did
an
that.
ignorant little man.
Look at that logo there in the corner.
Where?
See that big D?
Where?
Bottom right-hand corner of the video.
Oh. Inauthentic, man.
All right, let's see where this goes.
Are you listening to what he just said to you? Get on.
Yeah.
Tell
I'm
me
listening.
What you think about it.
Go ahead.
Okay, well, I mean, look, I'm only continuing to engage because you continue to engage with me, and I do want to hear other people's questions. But in response to that, again, what you're trying to demonstrate is that everyone's hypocritical. As someone once said, that we're all dirty up to our arms, right? We're not all perfect. None of us is perfectly morally consistent. Now, I've said absolutely nothing about affirmative action. The fact is that I believe everyone in this room is hypocritical to some degree, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't strive for a more just and equitable system entirely. There have been points in my life in which I have given up some of the privileges with which I have been endowed simply because I realized that it wasn't the right thing to do. At the same time, I think everyone needs to survive, and that we understand that we exist in an imperfect system, and that we have to conduct our business in such a way as to not only adhere to our moral standards, but to the standards imposed upon us by the system in which we live. And I think that we have to be generous to people in their efforts to not be hypocritical and to do their best. But I don't think that we should totally throw away the idea that we shouldn't have those standards at all. So that's my response to you, but I would still like a response to my question regarding the inequity that I talked about with the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. That is wealth that is passed down.
Keep going.
And it's documentable wealth. The same way that the wealth created, or the wealth stolen as a product of slavery, was also documentable wealth. We have numbers that demonstrate precisely how much wealth was stolen, and that's money that in some way could be given back. Now, if we're saying that it's absolutely impossible to give that money back because it's too hard to trace, we'd have to give money to the African tribes, we'd have to give money to people who are no longer exist, that's absolutely fine, but we have to understand that we haven't really come to terms with that injustice that's been perpetrated, and if we are admitting that no one is perfectly entitled to absolutely everything that their ancestors had stolen from them, then we also have to accept that there are people today who benefit from the fact that their parents and grandparents profited from this immoral system, and the way to deal with that is with a social safety net that enables everyone to thrive. I'll leave you there.
Hate that shit.
So he did go on to reparations there.
See, that's not a solution.
Yeah, I don't agree
It's
with that.
basically, how about everybody helps everybody out?
How about
There you go.
we call out all the bullshit that's ever happened? Just call it all out, and then come up with something after that. It wouldn't be reparations, obviously. It'd be more of a human safety net for all humans, right? It'd be like health care for everyone. Like there's a safety net for anyone, rich, poor, whatever. You were a billionaire and then all of a sudden you lost all your money. Well, so it's okay. We got a hospital bed for you. There's no problem with that. So yeah, reparations only work if you believe in the whole genetics and behavior thing. That's the only time reparations work, because the genetics of the slave owners and the slaves are passed on through generations, which means
Look, you did it.
they could, which means
Like,
they
you
did.
guys did it. I'm like, no. Like, your granddad. I mean, your great-grandfather, you know.
Well, if you take
Like, I didn't do anything.
if you take the genetics and behavior argument and the who we are is our genetics, then reparations would make a lot of sense. Right? You literally would be responsible for what your great-great-grandfather did, because you have the same genes and your genes are who you are.
It's ridiculous.
So that's the only place that works. All right, let's hear D'Souza's response.
Yes. Well, the core of the American system, this will actually answers your question directly, is that what do we do about the conquest ethic of the past? And here there are two options. There are two options. One option is we establish equal rights under the law. That was the solution of the civil rights movement. That we have had race-based discrimination, we've had racial hierarchy. Let's stop. Let's treat people according to the color of this, according to the content of their character. Equal rights under the law. Equal rights under the law.
Okay, so far a good start. Every human being is equal. Good start. I would also want to add on, like, let's recognize the mistakes of the past. Like, really recognize them so they never happen again. That means all those top secret files hiding in the Pentagon. It's like, sorry guys, we gotta tell people about this shit. All the creepy, crawly shit we've ever done. Let it be known. All right.
The other option, which you're defending, is you could essentially call it, let's correct for history. Let's correct for history. Let's try to find out who are the people in possession of stolen goods, and let's return it. Now, the first thing I'm trying to say is,
Just find out who has stolen goods. Why not just do that? Then find an answer to that after.
Let's just make sure it's like someone who's living on a house, who's living in a house, like 100 years ago. It was like one of their family owners or whatever the fuck that benefited from a form of slavery.
Oh no, I don't mean that. I mean
All
direct.
right.
I mean, you were one of the guards in that Nazi prisoner camp, weren't you?
This dude?
No, I'm just saying, like we found that guy.
Oh.
That's got to be pointed out. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
I don't mean my 18th grandfather, 18 generations
Well,
ago, did something.
Whether it be physical or metaphysical, it's going to be pointed out either way.
Yeah, it should
Either
be.
way,
It
it's like,
should be known.
Can't run from this.
Yeah.
You just following orders, right? Yeah, of course you would. Of course.
This is a hugely controversial principle because it actually involves wrecking the freedom of a free society. You basically have to put it frankly, if we were to carry that out, go into people's homes and take their stuff. Take their furniture, take their cars. You don't seem to have even the guts to do that. You don't have the moral self-confidence to do it yourself. It may be, if I am advocating a rule of social justice and I'm advocating it for the whole society, before I persuade everybody else, let's say I'm a Christian and I believe everybody should give 10% of their wealth to help the poor. And I go, you know what? The Bible says this, the Bible says that, everybody should give 10% of their wealth to help the poor. And somebody says, Dinesh, are you giving 10% of your wealth? And I'm like, actually no, but I did do some tutoring. And you go, wait a minute, aren't you advocating, aren't you saying that there is a moral duty to do this? Why don't you do it? Before you convince us, you do it. And you're like, I don't think I should do it because society is extremely complex, and I don't think I should do it unless everybody else does it. No, either you believe in it and you do it. Once you've done it, you might impress us. And then you might convince the rest of us that our wealth is also ill-gotten. But you can't do it. And I'm not trying to...
Yeah, this guy's easy. He's creepy.
Yeah, he's pretty light work. Let's be honest.
Be quite honest with you, nobody destroyed anybody here.
No.
If anything, this is more of a... Look how much of a, the college student is probably ignorant on the history, if not, or the history of, I would say, struggle regarding inequality or systematic targeting certain ethnic groups.
Well,
and then there's the solution to it. So that's a morality question, like a human question. So he's ignorant on that. This dude's immoral. Sounds like what I'm getting, straight up.
Well, I see two people.
It's like he's ignorant too.
Let's call them both ignorant, but one I'd rather hang around than the other.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd hang around this dude.
Yeah.
But what are you about?
Millionaires defending billionaires.
Think of it like an ignorant, immoral person, and then someone that's close to them. It's like, I don't agree with what you're doing, but I'm going to follow you around. Shy you away. Don't do it. You sure you want to do that? Basically, his own personal devil's advocate, just following him around.
Long as he chooses that. Yeah. All right, let's continue.
Wealth is also ill-gotten, but you can't do it. And I'm not trying to indict everybody of hypocrisy, only you. Because you're the one who said, I'm the beneficiary of illicit privilege. So you're a really good starting point, because I'm asking, if you're in possession of stolen goods, why aren't you willing to return them? So that's why fundamentally I see your charity. During the Civil War, there was a guy who goes, I'm very happy to give, I've given 3 cousins to the war, and I'm ready to sacrifice my wife's brother. That's basically your ethics. You're willing to have social justice if other people pay, but you're not willing to pay. So that's the problem. And that's the problem with the progressivism that marches behind social justice while protecting its own privileges. You know how you said, we all have to survive. Really? You have to be at Amherst to survive? You don't have to be at Amherst to survive. You have to be at Amherst to benefit. You have to be at Amherst because you're getting opportunities at this college that many other people are not getting. So if you say you believe in equal opportunity, you're a hypocrite, because you are taking advantage of opportunities unavailable to others. But for you, this hypocrisy is fully justified because you are militating on behalf of the poor.
See, this is a, how could I say this? Simple man, simple topic, dwells on simple topic, talks about it for a long time, seems pretty smart. Like, this is simple. This is shallow.
Yeah.
This can be. This is easy, under a minute. Real easy, under a minute.
He's not even registering any type of intention. He's not even registering like, oh, I can see that you're trying to do good. You just may have the wrong way to go about it.
The attempt.
Yeah.
So I called him and him ignorant, but one is right. One's making somewhat of on an individual level. Even if it is ignorant, if it is not the solution, an attempt towards the right idea,
Yeah.
as opposed to, well, you're a hypocrite. What are you gonna do? What's your solution?
Yeah. I mean, I'm almost
What the fuck? Like,
I'm almost in agreement with the kid up until he started talking about reparations.
I wasn't.
I'm saying let's count up the total. Let's see what the loss is.
I didn't really hear enough.
He says there's a way to calculate all the losses as far as labor without being paid and all the time that's gone and all the money.
As soon as I heard that,
I'd want to see what that is. I'm curious about that.
well, me too. But as soon as I heard that, I was afraid to go towards the reparations argument. But you can obviously tell, right? Okay. Well, why would somebody look that up?
Yeah.
Right? I was talking to somebody about this the other day, as far as we're talking about social justice warriors, right? I'm like, see, I don't dislike them that much, because probably somewhere intuitively it's like I have to do the right thing. It just gets lost in the way of doing that thing, and they go over the top. But you could say, as far as initially, it was like, I could see what you're trying to do. You're a little misguided, a little ignorant, but I could see what you're trying to do, as opposed to you're stupid. Facts don't care about your feelings. It's like, that's the guy that will never win.
Yeah.
Like, one, it feels the need to do something out of righteousness. The other one's just standing there with a suit.
Yeah.
But no. More people are gonna die. Nope. It's like, what the hell? Like you need to work for your money.
So I'm all for calculating the total loss over periods of time, and you would think that a guy was like, there is no privilege here. There's no privilege. There's no advantage to certain people because of these past things. You'd think they want to calculate it too, to say that there is no privilege, or there is no. Like there was a balancing point to where these guys, they were no longer being burdened, and
I just, I would wipe away that. Like, hey guys, everybody should be taken care of. That's it.
yeah,
That's all I care
I
about.
meant calculate it to understand why people may behave in a certain way.
Well, no, you don't need to calculate. All you have to understand is like the scenario. I don't think you have to calculate a certain amount of money. As far as understanding like what happens specifically to a group of people, that's different.
Yeah. Exactly. Condition people with certain circumstances, and they have the idea of it in the back of their minds, but they don't have it in front of them to say, oh, here it is.
I see what you mean.
It's like, oh, I really did get shot in the leg.
Okay.
Shit.
Gotcha.
I thought it was a bug. All right, let's continue. Granted, I wouldn't even trust the conditioned masses to, considering some of the arguments I just had on Twitter with certain people. I said some kid got his like head being like banged off the concrete by like a 15-year-old kid. This police officer like basically takes his back and just slams his head twice into the pavement, punches him once, and then cuffs him and then arrests him and shit. And I was like,
What the hell?
yeah. And I said, both those guys need help, the cop and the kid.
Yeah.
And be like, fuck that cop. Fuck that. What team are you on? Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like,
What did the kid do?
huh?
What did the kid do?
I don't even know. I only saw a video of him. He had like one arm behind his back. There's two cops there. They were in like fucking military outfits, it looked like.
What are they wearing?
It was like green camo looking shit.
Where was this?
I think it was in Florida.
What the hell? Whatever. Listen, no matter what that kid did, you don't do that.
Well, he's already down on the ground, and he's just like,
No matter
Twice.
what you do,
yeah, I know.
or whatever that kid did, you don't fucking do that.
Yeah. But, yeah, people were upset with me for saying that. And I'm like, yeah, that's why, let's say that we found out the government had some secret program that was using microwaves to brainwash black people into doing stupid shit or something. Like, would I be able to trust you? Would I be able to show you that? Because you might say, oh, we got a riot now. Everyone get a gun. We need to do this. Like, can I trust you with this? Just saying. That's why Batman's the only guy with the fucking NSA shit in that movie. Spying on, and one guy he trusted, Lucius Fox. That's why he wasn't, you know. All right, okay, cops. Here's this.
Oh, then he destroyed it.
Yeah.
Immediately after he was done.
Yeah. All right, let's continue.
But if you are against privilege, this college is privilege. So there's a glare.
Such
By the
a
way.
shallow.
Yeah. By the way, I apologize for giving Matt Hunter ammo to use.
What?
I don't know. I think he's going to twist that around somehow.
That's what?
Me saying the government shooting microwaves into whatever, into black people to make them behave a certain
Well,
way.
he already shot himself in the foot, unless he's just
I just have a feeling he's going to use it.
Because if you keep saying like, "Oh, he's anti-white," it's like you have never ever gone to depth on what that means.
Yeah.
So,
Whatever.
like truly, like anti-white. What do you mean? What?
Yeah. Plus, nothing this kid said sounded anti-white to me.
I mean,
I
if he really
don't know what
means
that
that,
means.
if he really means that, then Matt Hunter, if that really truly believes like he's anti-white just because he brought up this, even like, whether that kid's ignorant or not, what I heard, not even close to being any form of anti-white. And if we really look at that, right, as far as historically, like what was happening,
Yeah.
right now, I don't know. Neither does anybody else because they weren't fucking there. Well, I know for myself I wasn't there. But I have evidence to support my theory that a group of people were definitely targeted. And hold on. After slavery. And then, taken advantage of as far as economically.
Yeah.
To profit. Not racially, just profiting. And then, the masses might have been so fucking conditioned and ignorant to the point where it's like, they're racist, see, they hate us. I'm like, there's money to be made off of you. So if I can get these people to support what I want without them knowing that I'm profiting off of these people, by thinking, oh, they're black, they're going to be bad. They're going to influence your young people. You want that? They actually believe this. We're going to profit off of this shit. So,
Yeah.
what seems more likely? A or B? Heavily conditioned masses, right? You'll see people like who feel targeted and whatever have you, gonna riot. Like, oh, they see they're stupid too. Like they're not fucking helping they're not helping the problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're not coming to a solution.
Yeah, I know.
So whenever I see somebody who's doing too white, or if he says it, like Matt Hunter says it, it's like, well, I'd love to hear your solution. What do you mean by that? Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Shallow. I don't know if he's kidding or not, but it's like every time he says it, or last time he said I was or you was or we were, it's like now he is. It's like what? How? That makes no sense. That's essentially like self-hating Jew. Like what the fuck? What does that fucking mean?
Alex Jones. Yeah. All right. Last 20-something seconds, whatever.
Sharing hypocrisy, and you will never turn your moral mirror on yourself to say, what am I doing about it? That's my point. For you, society should act before you do, to enforce your moral code. Let's take a couple more questions.
Oh, that was so systematically just structured. Wow.
Full on destruction.
Oh, that was
Destruction initiated.
I think the only thing we learned as far as both people are ignorant and one's a little more creepy. Oh yeah.
Well,
one's actually creepy, and the other one's somewhat just, you're ignorant.
here's the thing I don't get with these guys. They really don't take feeling into account at all. We're actually in an era where feelings are bad.
Oh, I wouldn't say
It's
that.
a post-human world type
I
scenario.
would say that's where it's gearing towards.
Facts over feelings. See, he made a.
You can see the building blocks for an age like that.
Yeah.
That's what you mean. The whole post-human.
No, I'm saying these guys, these popular speakers.
Oh, these guys.
And Shapiro.
Oh, they're
guys
the building
like that,
blocks.
To where it's like.
They don't know it.
They don't understand. Like, oh, all right, I get it. You're a college kid who cares about, shitty things happening in the world or shitty things that have happened in the world. And then these guys are just like, no mercy. I need to take you down because I need to protect the billionaire sitting above me in the pyramid. They need protection, and I'm the gatekeeper here. So.
Or whether they know it or not.
What do you mean by white privilege? Blah 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 blah. I can say.
It's like, listen, all right.
Say an 8-hour.
What's underlying here? You know, that's the question that should be asked. So he got destroyed. He's like, fuck him. It's like, why is he saying that?
Yeah.
Why do people say white privilege? You know, is it a form of ignorance or is it a form of just straight up ignorance in team playing and a true lack of individuality in who you are, or is it a shallow sense of who you are? I don't mean that as insulting or any way, but this is me. I'm trying to do the right thing, even if I'm ignorant to what truly the right thing is. I care about the attempt and intentions. So when someone's like crying about like fucking what do you call it, white privilege, it's like, oh, there's a form of care here. Oh, okay. That's why I don't fucking stomp on them for that. The guys I don't like, right? No, I'm not championing anybody like that. I care about the intentions, but the guys like this who are like gatekeepers
and trying to make us.
Like, you're a hypocrite. You're wrong. See,
trying to make us ignore history in a certain way. Like the kid brings up.
I thought I was going to hear specifically, right?
Oh, the kid brings up particular. I guess I don't know if he's correct or not, but he brought him up, quote unquote, historical events, and his counter to that is like, well, what we do with the Native Americans? What we do about them? Were they the owners? Who really owns countries? Well, come on. Like, he's like bouncing around rather than looking at the immoral action that happened over here.
That's what I mean.
And it's almost the opposite, like with the Matt Hunter guy. When we bring up historical things that happened, there you go again, blaming the white man. It's like, shouldn't we point out when bad things happen, no matter where or how it happened? Like,
well, there's a reason why.
We call them out because they're bad things that happen, not because we're trying to win some game.
Look, that's the thing. I was just about to say that, okay? Sometimes these debates, they should really, truly be, right, a conversation between two people trying to get to a solution towards a problem or a better idea that's being presented.
Yeah.
That's what it should be. Instead of, see, I won, I destroyed you. See, have fun fucking like swing your dick around at home where like that's where you care, I guess, right? And this is what I really mean, right? That's why guys like that, guys like Matt Hunter, whoever else says that shit. And yeah, dude, you can fucking come at me if you if you disagree. It's like, you never follow up, or these people will never follow up on that. Like, there you go again, blaming the white guy, blaming white people, anti-white. See? It's like, name me some. Why don't you go name brown people that oppressed some white people, huh? It's like, what? I'm talking about a human problem. It's a human problem. Okay? Switch the roles. It might be it'd probably be the same shit. It's people. Ignorance.
Yeah. I mean, we actually do point out the minorities, but
hey, man,
just ignore
the shit is this. Is there a white person in position of power in any way, shape, or form oppressing other white people
in the world?
And I can't believe I'm going here. I cannot believe I'm doing this. Huh?
Does that happen?
Yeah, does it happen?
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Look at that.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here with that. I'm done with that. I'm done. Such a shallow, but the numbers.
I know.
It's people.
Let's
it's
ignore
a human
corruption
question
and turn it into a race thing. Ignore corruption so we can point out which race is doing what, which gender is doing what, gay, straight, which group is doing what.
I can see the
not what's the corrupt action.
I can truly see the
It's not that when we talk about it's not that when we talk about the U.S. going into South America and propping up these phony governments. It's not like we're saying phony governments. Hello, what's that?
People.
What's that saying? People
or within governments.
It's saying, if it's Brazil, it's saying a phony Brazilian president.
It's people. I don't fucking.
That's a Brazilian doing that.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Let's see.
Plus, we live in America, so we point out their shit.
It's like I can really see the like, you know, I'm being romantically lured towards a Taoist point of view, I would say. So, you know, see why you guys don't fucking argue with people, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, this is aggravating. Such a hate, like, hey man, I need to hear it. Like, he suggested this, right?
Who?
Matt Hunter.
Yeah.
Did he give context to it?
It was during a live stream.
Okay.
And I think he said, check out this anti-white kid. I'm pretty sure anti-white came up. Talking about the leftist kid. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's it.
Regardless. Even if he didn't say that, anybody that says that's just a fool. I don't like saying that, but, you know. Take offense to it. I mean, maybe there's some truth there, you know.
Alright, that is it for us. Please subscribe if you like. Always comment. We do video requests, so please, in the comment section, let us know what videos you want us to react to. Hopefully they're shorter ones than longer. Like, this was like 14 minutes. Perfect.
I do not. It doesn't bother me.
Perfecto. But like a 3-hour video would be difficult. Please donate to Devon's Journey to Recovery. Link in the description box. Website in the intro to this video with Metric playing. Best band ever. So donate. Devon's Journey to Recovery. GoFundMe link in the description box. Check that shit out. And with all that said, please give this video a thumbs down.
Say you wanna get in.